Yo, this is WSoul13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. And today we're gonna be doing normal Doom Tower 120 but with Helicath, right? So it's gonna be really cool and kind of easy to be honest. Like once you have Helicath in your team, there's really no reason for you not to be able to beat normal Doom Tower 120. You don't need to wait for Syl. You don't need to, pull a lucky champ. So I'm gonna show you an entire run to 120 with nothing but Helicath, basically, as your lucky pull. Everything else is farmable. Everything else is free. So let's go. So from 1 to 80, you don't even need to get lucky. So your Dragon's team should be able to get you all the way up to 80. All right. So this is exactly what I mean. So we're gonna start from floor 80. Well, let's start from floor 50. Right. Here we go. Right here. So, floor 50, right? You're gonna use the FTP Trinity, which is gonna be Helicath, Kale, War Maiden, Valerie in a shield set, Armiger with Destroy set. That should be enough to beat Scarab King twice. So Scarab King, I think when was the first time you faced Scarab King? 30? And then Scarab King 50. Alright, so that's it. All free champs, all farmable champs, right? It doesn't need to be Kale, by the way. This can be a starter, no big deal. It'll still work. Next. Nether Spider. So Nether Spider is a tough one. And for Nether Spider, you will need Spirit Host in your team. Spirit Host doesn't need to be level 60 to beat Nether floor 60 for Nether Spider. I mean, obviously if it's 60, it's easier, but she doesn't need to be 60 for this fight. She just needs to be able to survive, so she could heal you at least twice, maybe. Especially that first ally attack from the Nether Spider. You want to heal straight after that. So that's where Spirit Host comes in, right? So farmable chap yet again, right? So it's the same crew, basically FTP Trinity with Valerie. Valerie gives shield. She has that A2 that extends buffs. It also decreases debuffs by 1 turn. So she's actually an underrated cleanser in my opinion. Yeah. So floor 70, right? Frost Spider, it's basically the same thing. It's the same team we run for Scarab King. The reason why this time around, though, is we want to use Armiger for the block revive from his A2. If you're running this on auto, you want the hard, what do you call that? You want to force the AI to use the A2 on auto, right? So you just need to do that on your comps with the AI setup. And Magma Dragon, we don't even need to talk about Magma Dragon, right? I mean, Magma Dragon is kind of easy. Really easy. And then all the way to floor 89, you will be using this wave clear comp. Alright, you don't need Broadmaw. But of course, Broadmaw is going to be part of your Dragon's 20 team. So yes, Broadmaw is perfectly fine here. I'm just saying, if you run that same team that you used to beat Scarab King, so it's your FTP Trinity, Valerie, and Armiger, it's scalable all the way up to floor 89. Right? After floor 89, you're going to need a carry champ. Somebody that can revive or somebody that can control. Right? So the examples I always use is Broadmaw and Gnarlhorn. Gnarlhorn is something you'll need to get lucky with, but you do need a Gnarlhorn to fuse Rosin. So it's somebody you should be looking out for anyway. And the other one is Broadmaw, who is fusible, that you can farm out on your own without any luck whatsoever. So starting floor 91 upwards to floor 119, we are gonna be using Broadmaw as part of our wave clear team. Alright, if you already have Broadmaw, obviously you just use them as your wave clear team. I would probably suggest taking Armiger out for him, because there are some waves where there's unkillable champs and Armiger makes it a endless loop on auto because of the decreased turn meter. You know how that goes. Right, so Nether Spider. Nether Spider 90 actually does require a full team of War Master. I mean, you could probably get away without the full team of War Master. It's just that it's going to be a little bit harder without War Master on your entire team, you know? And you do need a cleanser here, really. I mean, in general, you do. You could get away without a cleanser if you have really good champs. Like you can see from my clan mates here, most of them don't have cleansers on their team. I mean, it's not necessary, right? And then once you have Drexstar, obviously Drexstar takes care of Nether Spider all the way up to floor 90 hard Nether Spider. I think, is there a 100 Nether Spider hard? Anyways, like the hardest version of Nether Spider, right? Drex will be able to do it. Drex, Syl, and Spirit Host. So that's the F2P core that you're going to use, F2P low spender core for Nether Spider. But assuming that you've only gotten Helicath and you're not at 180 yet, so you don't have Syl of the Drakes, you probably don't have Drexstar, because it's a minimum of 100 days for Drexstar. Most people, it's going to take them like 150 to 200 days to get Drexstar. I mean, you know, not everybody is going to be able to keep up buying that one shard every single day. But Drexstar is worth it for not just here, right? Obviously. I've done a Drexstar video on the channel. You want to take a look at that, perfectly fine. But Helicath here, what he does is the block damage keeps you from taking too much damage from the spiders and the poisons, while the shield increases your survivability. So it is really, really good. What did I do? I think I accidentally clicked on my messages. So, Scarab King. How do you beat Scarab King without getting lucky? Well, then if you have Helicath, you can beat Scarab King with Helicath, couple of Armigers, Valerie, and Helicath. So this team is proven you can beat Scarab King with this team. And the reason why this team works is because Valerie is on a shield set, and she can increase that shield buff duration, you know, with her A2. And also, Helicath can give you shields and also block damage. I mean, block damage isn't really that important here. You want shield here. And then the Armigers and the Helicath will keep the turn meter down, plus put decreased speed on Scarab King, right? So I am a big fan of like Valerie for Scarab King, especially like earlier in the game before you get a solo champ to do this. So if you haven't read my Reddit post, Templar can actually do it if you put him on a blood shield accessory, right? So yeah, Magma Dragon isn't really something you should talk about, to be honest, because he's so easy to do. Your Dragons team, right, should be able to beat any version of normal Magma Dragon. Easy peasy. No problem. Frost Spider, though. Frost Spider 120 is pretty difficult to do. I mean, the team here is practically one lucky champ slash, you know, Helicath, right? And kind of like a hodgepodge of pieces from the other boss fights we've been using. So Broadmaw is here to pick people up in case people die. Spirit Host can cleanse your entire team. If you don't have Spirit Host, I mean, it's a 6-star. I mean, it's probably not that bad to just use Kale here, or Starter, or War Maiden, whichever you prefer. A 6-star champ. Armiger here is mandatory. So you need Armiger for that A2, that block revive, so you could stick the death on this freaking Frost Spider that revives over and over again. You may want to force the A2 here if you're doing it on auto. I suggest, you can do it on auto, I suggest that you just kind of like keep an eye on it every now and then, and when you're close to the end, you just make sure that Armiger lands the last hit. And that's it. That's pretty much it. it's a pretty straightforward path once you have Helicath, right? So there's so many things Helicath can do in the game for you, to be honest. Like, it's not just clan boss, right? So we've already scratched what he can do in clan boss, how to scale up the Tuki. I think Helicath could be part of your team that can go all the way up to like 120 hard Doom Tower. And the cool part about Helicath is I don't think you need to change his build. Like, his speeds can stay the same for your clan boss team and still be good in Doom Tower, still be good in Hydra boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, good in faction wars. Basically anywhere and everywhere you want to bring him, he's fine. He's great. And I think that's it. So this is just kind of like a showcase of if you picked up Helicath, you got lucky there. I mean, you know, it's not really just luck though, because you did go through the event. You sacrificed your resources, your shards. You know, you diamond-handed those shards, man, and you're ready for this fusion, right? So hopefully you're ready for the next one in case they drop another Helicath type fusion. Right, if you're going for Drang right now, even after you've already got Helicath, I mean, he's actually not bad to go for. He's pretty good. He gives you an AoE HP burn, obviously one of the more useful roles to have in the game filled, right? Not a necessary role, obviously. I've already shown you how you can do Spider's 20 without any kind of the meta ways to beat Spider's 20. But AoE HP burn does make it fast, right? So eventually you can get Drexstar, you know, he does the same thing. I mean, albeit a lot slower, right? So that's kind of just the reality here of the F2P low spenders. This is what your comps are going to look like, right? Especially like in your first 100 days, 200 days, in your first year even. It's very possible that in your first year, especially if you're playing extremely chill, that your lineups are going to look kind of like this, like mostly hodgepodge, and then you'll have one or two champs that are really, really good that you got from a shard or you got from a fusion event, like Helicath, you know, which is perfectly fine because that's scalable. A lot of it can be scaled all the way up to like 120 hard Doom Tower, Hydra boss, you know, Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. Obviously, Helicath can do Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. So yeah, thanks for sticking around this long. Follow me on Reddit if you want like written stuff, if you want like new player guides, like just my perspective on raid in general. It's kind of fleshed out pretty well in Reddit because, you know, I take my time, I type it down. When I do these videos, it's really more like just a run through of my thought process, like things I could have missed when I'm like writing out all these guys that I can see. I have a visual cue of like, oh, okay, why use this guy? So why is he here, right? Stuff like that, you know. So I guess I'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow, actually, we have to do another one for the Summon Rush for Drang. So I'll see you for the Summon Rush for Drang tomorrow. Good night.